Thesis statement. In this video essay, I will discuss how films like Metropoolis, Snowpiercer, and Elysium exhibit classism, but I will explore how classism benefits society and the consequences of not having it. Background information. Metropoolis takes place in a futuristic Germany in the year 2026. The film was made in 1927, right after Germany had lost World War I, and their economy was in shatters due to the Treaty of Versailles. Most jobs left were manufacturing jobs with little wages. Meanwhile, the rich were unaffected and the gap between them grew. Snowpiercer takes place in the year 2040. The entire world is covered in an icy tundra because humanity tried to combat global warming too late and rushed to use CW7. The last remaining survivors are aboard Wilford's everlasting train. Elysium takes place in the year 2154. Naturally, Earth became diseased, polluted, and overpopulated. The wealthiest people fled Earth to preserve their way of life. All of these films are set in a futuristic or an apocalyptic setting and show a new standard of living for the world. If we destroy our own environment and create a lack of resources, we will make classism more necessary than it already is to sustain human life. How they got there. In each of these films, major apocalyptic or world-altering incidents happen because people assumed from the beginning that they would be fine, or their course of action was the correct one to take. The government or large industries reflect what a society determines what should be the norm or acceptable. Lower class individuals are already in a bad place, but make a bad situation worse for themselves and everyone in relation to them because they cannot see the bigger picture of knowing your position. Everyone is born with an inherent position in life. Some are born into poverty and some are not, but it does not mean you cannot move vertically up the ladder. It just means not everyone can move at the same time or not at all, because if you do, you'll leave the jobs unfulfilled and society will cease to operate properly. Why classism is necessary. Classism brings balance to every society. The king rules over his subjects. The subjects provide resources to keep the economy going. And in return, the king provides structure and protection to everyone. But when people think that they deserve more than what they can offer, chaos happens. From the films, we see that lower class individuals do not have a fleshed out plan and end up sacrificing more than necessary instead of negotiating a new deal. For example, in Metropoolis, the workers were justifiably upset with their working conditions. But instead of forming a union and taking matters up with their boss, they went to a prophet who told them to wait for a mediator when this could have been settled long ago through peaceful negotiation. In Snowpiercer, Curtis wanted to move up the train because the wealthy had an ample amount of food. The majority of the lower class did not have skills to offer for the compensation of better quality of food, so they were technically freeloaders who escaped the tundra apocalypse. Their motivation to rebel was unjustified in my opinion because they wanted more than what they were offering. In Elysium, the reasoning was a bit clearer. People were dying of sickness and they wanted to be healed. For example, Frey's daughter Matilda having leukemia and wanting to go to Elysium was understandable because she was actually dying. Unlike Edgar in Snowpiercer, who just wanted to remember what steak tasted like. Roles. The benefit of having hierarchy through classism is to control the masses, so people will not cause destruction and chaos if left alone like they naturally do if unchecked. For example, in Metropoolis, because they did not receive better working conditions, even though they did not ask for them, they decided to destroy the factory in which they worked. In the process, they lost their jobs and almost killed their own children because the factory was connected to the water supply and their kids almost drowned. In Snowpiercer, hundreds of people died from the back train section, all because a few individuals wanted more food than they were allotted. Yes, I agree, eating cockroaches is disgusting, but it's better than being frozen to death. Unlike Metropoolis, most of these people did not have any skills, because if they did, they would have ended up better off, like Gerald, the violinist. If we take a look at Elysium, there were still criminals like Max DaCosta, who stole cars, and organized criminals like Spider, who stole from the rich. There was no true apocalyptic fallout, just a natural progression of human pollution and overpopulation that went unaddressed but does not justify criminal activity. Conclusion: from natural selection to balancing the population or redistributing resources, it all relies upon classism for us to all coexist peacefully. Some entities will always have more resources than others due to nature and greed, but if you know your position and the worth you bring to the negotiating table, you can always move up and ask for more. Just not everyone will be able to do so, because blue collar jobs are essential, just like white collar jobs.